For more than 6 months, the search for answers in the disappearance and death of this little boy has gripped our community.
We stand here today with heavy and loving hearts for the tragic death of Lonzie Barton.
Today, a guilty plea by this man provided answers that prosecutors and police say they have no choice but to accept.
Too many adults in that little boy's life, short life, let him down.
New disclosures on what happened inside Ruben Ebron and Lana Barton's apartment when her little boy died.
Ebron pleading guilty, telling the police the couple locked the child in a bathroom so they could have sex. The boy then drowned in the bathtub. At 8:32 this morning, Ebron walked into court and took a plea deal to charges of aggravated manslaughter, child neglect, lying to investigators, and tampering with evidence. The judge accepted the plea and sentenced him to 20 years in state prison. Nearly all our reporters are covering today's big developments, from what happens next to separating the truth from the lies Ebron and Lana told police. And we have insight from our crime and safety analyst as well as legal experts. But we begin with Channel 4's Vic Micolucci. He was inside the courtroom this morning when Ebron made his plea and apologized to his family and Lonzie. Vic?
A lot of the details are difficult to hear. As part of the plea agreement, Ruben Ebron led police and prosecutors to Lonzie's body in Bayard. He also told them what he said happened. He said that he and Lana Barton, the child's mother, were having sex. They locked the toddler in the bathroom. The toddler apparently got into the bathtub and drowned. Ruben Ebron apparently held on to these secrets for more than 6 months. Ruben Ebron walked into court this morning and wasted no time pleading guilty to 4 charges. After prosecutors accepted the plea, the judge okayed it and sentenced Ebron to 20 years in state prison. That was part of his plea agreement. He faced up to 30.
Through his attorneys, Mr. Ebron said that this was an accidental death and that Lonzie had drowned in a bathtub inside the apartment that he shared with Lana Barton. He stated that he panicked and hid the child's body off of Phillips Highway and then staged it as an abduction.
Ebron apologized in this letter, which his attorney read to the courtroom. He said this was a tragic accident made far worse by our horrible decision-making. All we can do now is pay for the mistakes we have made and hopefully learn from them. Lonzie's mother, Lana Barton, pleaded guilty to child neglect last month in exchange for testifying against Ruben. That's what prosecutors say triggered him to lead them to the toddler's remains the night before his trial was supposed to start. Prosecutors wouldn't say if these new developments will affect Lana's case.
Lana Barton has a pending case for sentencing here and other pending charges in Baker County, and I'm not going to be jeopardizing anything related to any of those by discussing further matters here in front of you guys.
Many community members wanted harsher punishments. They were against any kind of plea deal.
What I will say is this: I've heard a couple people sort of say that this is should be a death case or a life sentence, and there is no charge that has been filed or could be filed based on the evidence that would call or qualify for either one of those. And so that strikes me as a pretty irresponsible statement.
Ruben Ebron's parents have followed the case from day one, always in the courtroom. They told me they were upset and heartbroken.
This whole situation is disappointing. So there's nothing in, no certain thing in particular that makes it more disappointing than the other. There's a child that's gone. Lonzie Aaron Barton is not here. So that was the thing that tugged my heart. We raised him differently. He made decisions. He was involved in a different environment than what we do. And this was the consequences of it. And this is selfishness on his part and her part.
Now, Ruben Ebron's father made it clear that while he did speak with his son several times over the past couple of months, never did his son give him any of those details. He said that he cooperated fully with police, even went up to the homicide detectives with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and thanked them for their hard work after the hearing this morning. Reporting live downtown, Vic Micolucci, Channel 4, the local station.
So, Vic, Ruben Ebron has pleaded guilty. He's been sentenced. So what happens next for him?
Well, I just checked, and he's back at the Duval County Jail right now. There could be an order to transport him either to the state prison somewhere across the state of Florida or to Baker County, because remember, he faces drug charges on a completely separate case there in Baker County. So he could either go to some sort of prison check-in system, or he could go to Baker County to stand trial or possibly make a plea deal there on those drug charges.
Vic Micolucci reporting live from outside the courthouse. Vic, thanks.
Prosecutors say they are satisfied that the criminal justice system did everything possible to solve the death of Lonzie Barton. They say because of the passage of time, it's impossible for the medical examiner to confirm scientifically the cause of death. We continue our coverage now with Channel 4's Chris Parento, who was there for a news conference at the state attorney's office. Chris?
Tom, State Attorney Angela Corey said that her entire team wanted to make sure they got Ruben Ebron sentenced to the maximum penalties that they could get in this case. She says that she, along with her prosecutors and the investigators from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, met, they discussed this, and not one single person in that discussion disagreed with this plea deal.
And it is an absolute travesty for me to see now people trying to stand on the bones of this baby and boost themselves up. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. This is not a political mound to stand upon and beat your chest and try and use it for your own benefit. This is a dead child.
Lead prosecutor Rich Manti says that questions from the community about whether or not this deal should have been made are unwarranted. He, State Attorney Angela Corey, and JSO Chief of Investigations Tom Hackney all said that without this, Lonzie's body never would have been found.
It wasn't necessarily easy, but again, the facts that we can prove versus what emotions we may carry forward on what we think should be don't always match.
Hackney said from the beginning of the investigation that Ruben Ebron held the key to the case. He says that he can't say for sure what made Ebron change course and lead investigators to the body, but it's what he wanted from the beginning, despite heartbreakingly finding the toddler under tires.
He was very determined and wasn't bothered by the cold or the fact that he's standing in ankle-deep water in socks. He was very resolute in finding him and was as emotional as we had encountered him at any given time during that investigation that night.
State Attorney Angela Corey said that because no cause of death could be determined with the finger pointing that could have gone on between Ebron and Lonzie Barton, this deal was necessary.
Had this baby been found earlier, would there have been a different result? Possibly, but we'll never know. So we deal with the facts and the laws we have then.
Prosecutors mentioned that Lonzie Barton's body was found with multiple healing rib fractures, but they say that those occurred before the time frame of when his death occurred. They also mentioned that skull fractures were found, but because of how his remains were found underneath those tires, it was impossible to determine whether or not those skull fractures occurred before or after his body was placed there. Live at the Duval County Courthouse, I'm Chris Parento, Channel 4, the local station.
Chris, thanks. And moments ago, Kent Justice wrapped up a one-on-one interview with State Attorney Angela Corey about the decision to accept Ebron's plea deal and where we go from here. Kent will have that live report in the next hour.
We know the police were told lie after lie when they began investigating what at first was the disappearance of Lonzie Barton and was later his death.
Those tales of deceit, they started the night the little boy died, ranging from a fake abduction to his mother's claims that she knew nothing, only to learn today that Ebron now says Lonzie died while he and Lana were having sex. Channel 4's Jim Piggott joining us live to show us what police say is truth and fiction. Jim?
Well, you know, here at the Sheriff's Department, when they began this investigation, as you said, all they had to go on were those lies. Investigators believe that Lana knew that her son was dead, and they also say that Ebron had dumped the body earlier that day, and the two kept up this charade for months before it fell apart. Let's start at the beginning on July 24th, when we first learned about Lonzie. It was a lie when Ruben Ebron said he put Lonzie in a car and the child was abducted. We know now that the little boy died the day before, and both Lana Barton and Ebron were in the house and locked the boy in the bathroom while they were having sex. As the months passed and their stories fell apart, investigators say they tore into each other.
When they're both lying and it's a finger-pointing contest like these cases tend to be, what pulls us out, what saves law enforcement and prosecution, are the physical findings that refute what either or both are saying.
Neighbors had also thought Ebron had practiced what was thought to be a dry run to fake the abduction, but that never took place.
The speculation of him doing a dry run, we have some thoughts on that ourselves, that he may have done his drug dealing in that area, and if somebody had seen him there, that's what they saw.
Police now believe Ruben Ebron took Lonzie's body to the dump that day he drowned, and Lana Barton went to work at Wacko's knowing her little boy was dead. And then there's this session in the interrogation room. This video was released to us in December, and it shows Lana pleading with Ebron to tell her where Lonzie is, when in fact they both knew he was dead.
Where is he, Ruben?
I swear to you, I did. I a lot of things, but I did not do. I did.
I still, I mean, that's just, it's not solving anything.
It's not. I know it's not. But
that's all I want to know is just where my kid is. That's it. I don't give who done it or how we got there. I just want to know where my kid is.
I know that.
Both of these individuals, from the very second that they came in contact with the sheriff's office, Lana in the circumstances where she encountered the officers on the way home from work, and Ruben when he made his 911 call, both started down a long road of lies. So they're liars in my eyes. You have to take what they're offering in these plea agreements at face value, just because that's the way that this works.
So, of course, the question now, how do we really know that little Lonzie actually drowned in that bathtub? Well, according to officials, we don't. They have to take the word of Ruben Ebron, who, as we've seen in the past, hasn't always told the truth. But they say because it's hard to determine the cause of death here, or they don't have a clear cause of death, they have to take his word. We're live at the Sheriff's Department. Jim Pickett, Channel 4, the local station.
Jim, thanks. Well, today we've heard JSO and the Department of Children and Families pleading with parents to do your homework, do criminal background checks, know who you're allowing to be around your children. Chief Hackney specifically gave some key advice on parenting.
Don't leave your kids unattended anywhere. Not with a tub of water, not in the car. Don't leave them unattended. Don't do drugs, all right, first of all. But if you do them, don't do them around your kids. If you have kids and leave them with somebody, know who you leave them with. Know what their criminal history is. Know what their background is.
News4JAX investigative reporter Lonzie Barton here to show you just how easy it is for you to go online and find out critical information for yourself. Lindsay?
Well, parents, take a few minutes here tonight. Stop what you're doing and look just how simple this is. This is a public website in Jacksonville to search all court records in Duval County. It is called CORE, and that stands for Clerk Online Resource e-Portal. I went ahead and put the web address at the bottom of your screen. If you didn't catch that, it was core.duvalclerk.com. Now, once you're there, you're going to click on this bottom button here that says Public Access, because, of course, you're the public and you have access to these records. Then it's going to come up with a search screen where you plug in someone's first and last name. Now, to save time, I've gone ahead and done that on the second screen here tonight. In this case, we wanted to search William Ruben Ebron. So his name is typed in, and then I just click Begin Search. Then all cases involving Ebron in Duval County will then populate. Now, the most recent one that will come up will be the criminal case with Lonzie, because they're populated by year, and it goes all the way down to even traffic offenses. So here on the side, when these cases populate, you'll get 2015, 2014, and if it's a long criminal history, it'll be a long list of results. Now, if someone had searched Ruben Ebron before he ever came in contact with Lonzie, they would have found in 2012 when Ruben was accused of domestic violence. In 2011, a criminal misdemeanor battery or assault. 2009, a drug case against him. The list, it goes on and on. We have posted a link to this website on our website for you. And even if you aren't a parent tonight, if you think a child may be in danger based on who they're around, take these few minutes to learn more about that person. This online resource is here to help you be your own best advocate. Tom?